The practice of draping underlay directly over rafters unsupported has served us well for many years, particularly when using traditional bituminous underlays. These are heavy and tend to drape naturally between the rafters, allowing any water that gets into the batten cavity to run between the rafters and down to the gutters. A further advantage is that the underlay compresses and forms a natural water seal around the nails and between the underlay and tile battens, preventing any water from getting through the nail holes. Modern air or vapour permeable underlays bring many advantages to pitched roofs, particularly in controlling condensation. However, these are much lighter and do not tend to compress and seal in the same way that bituminous underlay does. It can also be difficult for the roofer to install the underlay with a drape between the rafters, so water can become trapped behind the battens and then run sideways and leak through the nail holes into the structure. This sequence shows how to construct the roof to ensure the underlay layer remains waterproof. Firstly, the underlay is laid across the roof and draped directly over the rafters. Depending on the type of underlay, it may be necessary to tape the underlay laps. Your underlay supplier will advise you on that. Secondly, install nail tape directly above each rafter. Nail tape mimics the properties of the old bituminous underlay by forming a seal around the nails and between the underlay and battens. Then, counterbattens are fixed over the nail tape. These lift the tile battens up enough to allow water to escape between the battens and underlay without the need for a drape in the underlay. Then, the tile battens can be installed, fixing directly through the counterbattens into the rafters. The nail tape will protect the nail holes in the underlay to maintain its waterproofness. If counterbattens are not wanted, then it is possible to fit nail tape directly between the underlay and tile battens. Without counterbattens, it is important to lay the underlay with a drape to allow water to pass under the tile battens. As before, depending on the type of underlay, it may be necessary to tape the underlay laps. It is not practical to lay the nail tape in a continuous run, so it needs to be in small patches directly under the battens, as shown here. Once the nail tape patches are in place, the tile battens can be installed, fixing through the nail tape patches directly into the rafters. The nail tape will protect the nail holes in the underlay to maintain its integrity.